don't disrespect the game. Don't disrespect that orange peel. It can take you a lot of places, and it can make you get a lot of money. Don't disrespect it.
Hello, everyone. This is Tim Brown, author of the book Uncommon Athletes, and also on staff with the Fellowship of Christian Athletes in Columbus, Ohio. And I'm blessed to have with me Brother Carl Nix. Brother Nix, Carl is currently he's an NBA scout for the Indiana Pacers, but he has a wealth of experience in basketball from playing at the collegiate level at Indiana State with Larry Bird, and also playing at the NBA level as well. So he's done a myriad of things in basketball. I just thought it'd be great to have him on to kind of talk about his experience. So, Carl, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and I know you grew up in Inglewood on the south side of Chicago. You know, how did you end up? What led you to basketball? Because I know there's a lot of other stuff going on the south side. What got you into basketball?
Well, first of all, you know, it was the Inglewood area it's a tough area, but it still was a what I call a sense of community. And so it was a community, and we all got together, and, you know, we had to create our own games, our own softball games, our own basketball games. We had a court right across the street from my house. And so I was involved in different variety of sports, and just kind of I first started off in baseball, and I was decent in baseball until a coach seen me play one time when I was younger and say, why don't you consider doing both? So I started playing basketball and kind of just excelled in it really quick. You know, the first seventh grader to make the eighth grade team was a big deal. And so I just devoted all my time and energy into playing basketball and become this basketball player. Even in the eighth grade, I was going around the neighborhood saying, hey, you know, I'm going to the NBA. You know, I'm Carl Nix with the golden wrist. You know? Stop me. I had my homemade jerseys on, homemade sweatshirts on, and I was going around the neighborhood doing this. And the court, like I said, was right across the street from my house. So I go up there before school, shoot by myself, everything, all that stuff. In the wintertime, I shovel snow, make sure I got a path to shoot. So I was dedicated. And this is the final thing. My mom really got a thrill out of this here. I always wanted to dunk the ball. So I was too small at that time. So I climbed up the pole. With my ball. And I don't even know how I did that. But anyway, I actually got up there, sat on the rim, and threw the ball straight through there, and I dunked it. And so that was one of my big things. From that point on, I just fell in love with all sports, particularly basketball. And that's how it started for me.
Right. I know your dad was a minister and pastor for over 50 years. So I know you grew up in the church. How did your faith foundation help you through life?
Oh man, when I reflect back now, you know, just basically born in the church and raised in church, that gave me a solid foundation, a rock. I understood it. Even when I didn't know it, running around in the neighborhood, doing different variety of things that I probably shouldn't have been doing, I didn't understand that somebody was praying for me, you know, to keep me safe and sound, so to speak. And so growing up in the church really gave me a foundation. I understood it, gave me a sense of self. It was community, it was unity, it was everything. And at that time, at a young age, you don't really understand the whole dynamics of going to church and Christ and all this kind of stuff. But what I can say now today, that it will all build in me over a period of time. It just laid bay. It just laid bay there, along with the prayers of my grandmother, grandfather, my mom, my dad. And so now I totally understand it. I'm totally committed to understanding Christ as my savior, someone that I can depend on. It was the best thing that happened to me, was being able to grow up in church, have a dad as a minister. But at the end of the day, that foundation was my rock, it centered me. So I am grateful for that today.
Yeah, that's a blessing. I know the Bible says this: train up a child in the way they should go, and when they want to depart from it. So you were truly trained in the word. So it was something that got you through, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But let's talk about, how did a guy from Southside Chicago end up at Indiana State playing with Larry Bird from a little small town in Frenchland, Indiana? How'd you end up at Indiana State?
Well, first of all, I always had a little slogan in my head, or whatever. I said to myself, this is a tough environment. Hustlers, gangbangers, dope boys, dope dealers, con men, all kind of stuff in that environment. And one of the things I used to say to myself, I'm going to dribble my way out of this environment. I'm going to get me a scholarship. Because it was only two choices. My older brother, one of my oldest brothers, went to the Navy. And I, in my mind, I said, well, if I don't get no scholarship, I'm going to follow that path.
Right.
Did I really want to do that? No. I started excelling so much in high school where I said, oh, man, I'm going to get a scholarship. So I was to myself, I'm going to dribble my way out of this environment. And so what happened, this is a strange, funny story. And this is the honest to God truth. When I was a junior, or maybe the beginning of my senior year in high school, I wrote a small letter, to IU University, not knowing the dynamics of IU, not knowing the dynamics of Bobby Knight. But I just knew that they had a great program. So I wrote this letter and addressed it to Coach Knight and sent it to IU. And so the next thing I know, Indiana State comes to my home game to see a big guy named Mike Robinson that eventually went to University of Michigan. And me and Mike Robinson was friends. And so we battled against each other. Mike Robinson had a great game. I had a great game. So now Indiana State is recruiting both of us. And so after a couple of visits, Coach Bill Hodges sat down with me and said, you know what? We got a letter in the mail that was addressed to IU, but it came to Indiana State. I say, what? And it was talking about this, that, and the other. And so we just kind of investigated it and wanted to investigate and came to see you.
Wow.
And are we happy that we did? Now, granted, I only had a C average at that time. So I don't even know if I could have got into IU, but things worked out where I was able to get into Indiana State. And this is really what happened, and it's a wild thing. But so now Indiana State is recruiting me heavy. I had some other offers, but they recruited me heavy. So I just made a decision to take this first visit to Indiana State. That was my very first time flying on a flight and my very first visit. And I was nervous and I went down there. They were selling me on this big, tall, 6'9", 6'10", white, blonde guy named Larry Bird from French Lick, Indiana. So when we get down there, one of the itinerary was like, well, we're going to have dinner. I'm going to hang out with the players later on that night. They're going to take me to a frat party, blah, blah. But what was in the itinerary that blew my mind and say, well, we're going to play a pickup game. I said, pickup game? They gave me some gear. Team me up with Larry Bird. I said, oh, this is Larry. 6'9", long, raggedy blonde hair, kind of thin. And I was like, man, he sure don't look like no player. I'm saying this to myself. So we get to playing an up and down pickup game. And this dude here, it wasn't even 3-pointers at the time. He's shooting 3-pointers. He calling them banks and 3-point line. He's dribbling behind his back. And at that time, Larry had some hops. He had a little bounce in his legs. He was dunking backwards and shooting left-handed, shooting right-handed, passing behind his head. But I was like, I called home, told my mom, and I told my mom after that workout, I told him, I said, you know what, I don't know if I want to go on any other visits. What I've just seen, I want to play with this guy. I told Coach, I say, Coach, you ain't got to sell me no more. You ain't got to do any of that stuff. Where's the paperwork, the letter about that letter you signed, I can't remember the name of it, but I'm ready to sign and move on. I'm not going to no more visits. And so that's pretty much how that happened.
Wow, that's a great story. That's
pretty much how it happened.
Yeah. So you get to Indiana State and all of a sudden you get this nickname, Mr. Intensity.
on the south side of Chicago, we played park district ball, blacktop ball, and sometimes you had to not only play hard on the court, but you might get into some scraps. You might have to fight a little. You might have to push up. You just never know. And so I started building this here hard-nosed, aggressive type style of play because it was like it helped me pretty much. Not saying I was a tough guy, but it helped me. But my high school coach and even my 8th grade coach, my high school was an ex-military guy, and they were some hard-nosed guys. And they was like, hey, guy, hey, my high school coach, his motto was like, at 3:15 when our game started, all hell gonna break loose. Leave it all out on the floor. But that's how it was instilled in me, and I didn't really know it. So now I get to Indiana State, and we playing and everything. I'm a freshman. I wasn't getting that much time, but when I got those minutes, I'm going all out, man. I'm just like this energized bunny. I'm going all out, full court pressing the other guard. And so what happened? I developed a Carl Knicks fan club. I had a fan club, and Larry Bird didn't even have one. And this fan club called me Mr. Intensity. And so I was like, yeah, I like that. And so, that's going to be like my motto. That's going to be who I am. And so I just kind of adapted to it and kind of used it. And it started just being me naturally. Mm-hmm. And so that's pretty much how that kind of developed.
Right. Wow. That's a great story. That's a great story. After your freshman year, you ran into some academic hurdles there at Indiana State. Can you talk about that and how you were able to overcome those and work your way back to the team?
Yeah, I wasn't a great student in high school. I did enough to get by. I'm not going to lie about that. C average is what I need. Didn't have to take no SAT, ACT tests, any of that stuff. So I did enough to get by, but didn't have no good behavior habits. Didn't have no good study. None of it. Didn't have good. And so now I'm down in Indiana State, no curfew, no supervision. I'm by myself. I'm 18, 19, whatever. Didn't open up a book hardly at all. If I had to, I'll open up a book come Sunday night at 9:00 or something. That I'm calling myself studying. And so what happened? I did a great job of having a grade point average of 1.6. And they called me in the office and said, "Hey, look, you're in academic trouble. You're going to be on academic probation, but we got a plan for you." I grabbed a sister named David Langston. He's from Panama City, Florida, down that area. He's going to go back home. We want you to go down there with him to Panama City Gulf Coast Community College. He's going to be your mentor. I like David Langston. He was a good dude and a good ball player. So I decided I was pissed. I was like mad, all that stuff. And so I decided to go down there because either I was going to do that or I was going to get kicked out of school. I didn't have no grades. And so I decided to do it. And so that was a huge decision. And I made that decision. And my parents didn't even know I made the decision. Then I told them. So that's how that happened. I ended up going down to Gulf Coast Community College my sophomore year. And it just, the light came on again. I worked out, played hard, did well in basketball, and I did well in the classroom. I was totally disciplined, totally focused. And went from a 1.6 GPA to a 3.5 GPA at Gulf Coast Community College, and my game was seriously under control. I was still Mr. Intensity, but I didn't run over nobody on offense. Right. I just killed them. I just gave them buckets. That's all on offense. And I was a monster on defense. Led the league, led the JUCO. I was top guy in steals and all that stuff. So it was a blessing. It was a scary one down there by myself, but it was a blessing in disguise.
You mentioned once that you got a phone call from Larry Bird during your time down there. How'd that go?
Yeah, the coaches visited me a couple of times, and they called all the time because I was playing hardball. I ain't coming back. They should have never let me go. Should have found a way to get those grades right for me. Should have did this. So I'm playing hardball now. I'm getting recruited all over again. I'm getting letters from Maryland, North Carolina State, LSU. I'm like, I'm big time, man. I ain't going back to Indiana State. Look who's after me. I even got a letter from Dean Smith. I'm like, whoa, North Carolina Tar Heels. I'm like, forget Indiana State. And so I'm playing hardball with them. So I think they got a little nervous about it because they seen value in me. And so they put Larry on the phone. And Larry made one phone call. He said, hey, man, I heard it. I know what you're doing down there. I'm happy for you. Oh, my God. Let me just run this past you. You the piece that we need. The piece that we need. Yeah, we need you at that shooting guard and sometimes at that point. You're the piece we need. If you come back, I can guarantee you we can go to the Final Four. Oh, Larry's crazy. He's out of his mind. He's out of his mind. So I went back for a visit, watched the team play during my junior college year. The team was phenomenal, great talent, and these were the same guys I was going to come back and play with. And so during that visit, I told Larry, I'm coming back, man. I'm coming back. Because they had open arms for me, welcomed me back. I told him I was coming back. And I decided to go back. And we went to the final two. And at that time, I said, Larry Bird is the basketball brain.
That's it.
Yeah.
How was that championship game experience? Take us back to that championship game experience with Magic Larry and all that.
But first of all, man, look, a kid, brother coming from the south side of Chicago, man, that's a milestone, man, coming out of the hood. And I'm on national TV in the Final Four out of all the millions of college players that never even got to the tournament, maybe. And I'm talking about the Final Four. So it was unbelievable feeling, man. It was cloud nine. I was on top of the world. I just felt like we were good. I felt like I was one of the best in the country. Great feeling. We wasn't cocky. We wasn't overconfident, and we wasn't cocky. But I just thought that some of our guys was a little nervous of Magic Johnson because they were some city guys talking a lot of smack and all that kind of stuff. I thought they got a little bit nervous. And I told them, I said, man, that ain't nothing but talk. I grew up with that in Chicago in the playground. So, game time comes, let's just string them up and let's play. Overall, that Final Four thing was just a blessing, man. And I still live it right now. I got the ring, all that. People call me, still get fan mail. So it's just unbelievable, unbelievable memory.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now you come full circle. You go from that academic probation back to IU, playing Indiana State, playing in the Final Four, and then they retire your jersey. How was that feeling as you just came full circle?
Yeah, that was another huge blessing. It was just 2019, February 2019. They gave me a call and said, we're going to do this. And I didn't really push it much. I always was curious about how it worked. And with the help of Greg Lanson, the current coach there, he kind of pushed it. And they say, oh, yeah, we're going to do it. Then the president of the university and some other high booster kind of said, Carl, we're sorry. This should have been done. It's so disrespectful, should have been done, but it's done. And I'm really grateful for that. And it's like it's the icing on the cake because what I really wanted to say that, hey, I was a really good player there at Indiana State, and I'm a guy that graduated. Not only graduated with a bachelor's degree, but I graduated with a master's degree. So I wanted to say that. And then this is another thing I really want to do. When a kid come in that arena on a recruiting trip that looked like me, I would like for them to point up in the air at that jersey and say, do you know that guy? Well, that guy was from the south side of Chicago, the hood, basically flunked out of here. We sent him back off. He came back, became an All-American, became an All-Missouri Valley, first round draft pick, graduated, and I want that to happen. I want to leave that legacy. That's what I really wanted to do, and I am so ever grateful that happened. Not only for a young guy look like me, but even a female come through on the women's side. And I'm up there, the only African American brother that's up there, and so that's the first. So I am so ever grateful for that. I am.
Yeah, that's powerful. That's a powerful statement. Because people can't be what they can't see, and by you
right,
you can see that, and they're like, hey, I can do this, which is truly a blessing. That's what it's all about. Carl, this has been great, great conversation. But as we wrap up, I want you, if you can leave some advice to some young guys who have that dream of getting to the NBA. You played at the highest level. Now you're a scout, and you see a lot of You see a lot of basketball. What advice do you give to some young guys?
But some good bullet points is, first of all, you got to keep a clean trail. Make sure your character's in check, and make sure your character's in check. And you got to believe in something that's greater than yourself, because if we leave it up to ourselves, we won't do the right thing. So you got to be able to listen to somebody, your mom, dad, coach, that's going to guide and lead you. Don't get to the point where you stop listening. So that's another thing. You have to be self-motivated. You got to get up and work out. Get up and study. Go to bed. You have to be disciplined if you want to try to reach the goal, because, to me, the basketball gift was from God. And I say, thank you, God, by my attitude and by my work ethic. I'm saying, thank you for the gift. I'm not going to misuse the gift. And that's some of the things I tell them, be respectful. Don't start getting some glory and stop listening and being cruel and being rude and all this kind of stuff. Be grateful, because it will allow you to get better and to grow. And another thing I'll tell them, you got to ask questions. If you're confused about something, ask questions. And what hurt me that I get in them, sometimes we stuff things in, when we're bothered. Have that person where you can let it out, where you can talk to a trusted friend, dad, whoever. And these things will help you not only in your life, but also in your basketball life. It would help you. And don't disrespect the game. Don't disrespect that orange peel. It can take you a lot of places, and it can make you get a lot of money. Don't disrespect it.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that coming from Mr. Intensity. I can see that you was fired up there, wrapping that up.
Yeah, man, I got going.
Right. Well, I appreciate your time. Yeah, I appreciate your time, and thanks and I pray you continue to encourage young guys.
Thank you. Anytime.
Great example.
Thank you so much.
All right, well, take care. Thanks, Carl. Appreciate you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, all right.